So Courtney already had run the GI map, and at first glance, it didn't look that bad, just a little microbial imbalances and some immune system activity. So I ran a test that I actually trust called the gut tumor. And what we saw with Courtney's results, it blew her away. Are you still bloated and without real answers? Even after testing your gut, you are not alone. My client Courtney looked 6 months pregnant for over a year, and every test said she was fine. Until we ran this one test and it changed everything. If you've been struggling with gut issues like bloating, cramping, constipation, diarrhea or gas, and you've already worked with a doctor or practitioner, chances are you have taken a gut test. Most likely the GI map. That's exactly what happened with my client Courtney. She came to me after 13 months of feeling she was carrying a food baby every single minute of the day. Constant bloating, nothing worked. She had seen multiple doctors, multiple practitioners, tried all the protocols, still bloated, still inflamed, and still stuck. Now I knew we needed to take a deep dive into her gut health. So Courtney already had run the GI map, and at first glance, it didn't look that bad, just a little microbial imbalances and some immune system activity. But here's the problem. Her symptoms were screaming that something deeper was going on. So I ran a test that I actually trust called the gut tumor. It's the most comprehensive digestive health test on the market, and it gives you a full top to bottom view of what's really going on in your gut. And what we saw with Courtney's results, it blew her away. First, her Shannon's and Simpson index were extremely low. That means she has critically low gut microbiome diversity. And this matters a lot. A rich and diverse microbiome is essential for strong immunity, since 70 to 80% of your immune system lives in your gut. And here's something people don't realize. There are a ton of studies now showing that the less diverse your gut is, the more likely you are to gain weight. So yes, poor gut diversity can literally make you gain weight faster. The Shannon's index is more tied to your diet, and the Simpson's index is usually disrupted by a gut pathogen overgrowth. Then we looked at her phyla distribution, the broad bacterial families in her gut. Two families, the Firmicutes and Bacteroidetes, should make up about 90% of the bacteria in the colon. They feed on what you eat. So Courtney's Bacteroides were at 20, but we want them above 50. These guys thrive on fiber-rich whole foods, and they help absorb vitamins and nutrients. So her low levels meant disruption. And her proteobacteria, way too high. Now these are gram-negative bacteria, and they have a tough outer shell made of endotoxins, also called LPS. And these particles can survive boiling for 30 minutes. And when they leak into your bloodstream, they flood your immune system, they inflame your body, they block lymphatic drainage. So no wonder she felt awful. Next up, we have the section gut commensal. The scale goes from 0 to 6. From 0 to 2, it's optimal, and there is no link between the gut bacteria and the condition stated. From a 2 to 4, there is a moderate association between the gut bacteria and the condition. And from a 4 to 6, there is a very high connection between the bacteria and the condition. So we want to look at the highest number to determine the areas of concern. In Courtney's case, intestinal permeability was the highest red flag, followed by liver health, cardiovascular issues, and signs of IBS and IBD. And guess what? The gut tumor also picked up Candida overgrowth, something her GI map completely missed. Keep in mind, gut pathogens such as parasites, Candida are notoriously sneaky. They hide. And this is why an in-depth, thorough assessment of symptoms is a non-negotiable foundation, as gut tests often yield a false negative. Now, this test doesn't stop at the gut bacteria. It gives us a robust inflammatory marker panel. Most people know about calprotectin, but the gut tumor even goes further, and it checks a total of 7 inflammatory markers to see the different aspects of the intestinal barrier. And this is what gives you an idea what type of inflammation may be present and how to best address this, such as lactoferrin. Lactoferrin is a protein that binds to iron and has antimicrobial properties. It's found in neutrophils and gets released during inflammation or when there's an imbalance in gut bacteria. Lactoferrin levels are usually high in bacterial or parasitic infections, leading to mucosal inflammation, and it's commonly elevated in IBD but low in IBS. So it makes it useful for differentiating between the two conditions, and it can also help to monitor the treatment progress for IBD. Courtney's pancreatic Alistair's was tanked. We want this number closer to 400 and her was way below that. Now what does that actually mean? Pancreatic elastase is an enzyme made by the exocrine tissue of your pancreas and it plays a major role in digestion. So the cool thing is it's not broken down as it moves to your digestive tract. So we can test it through your stool to get a direct read on your pancreas enzyme production. So when this marker is low, it means your pancreas isn't releasing enough enzyme to properly digest your food. And this could be due to inflammation, a blockage, or even something as simple as not chewing food thoroughly. So without enough of those enzymes, you end up with incomplete digestion, especially of fats and proteins, which leads to bloating, cramping, and nutrient deficiencies. Now let's talk about something that sounds maybe super technical, but it's actually really important for your gut and for your overall health. Short-chain fatty acids. So these are basically powerful little byproducts your gut bacteria make when they ferment insoluble fiber, the kind you get from your veggies, your legumes, your seeds, and other whole foods. So when your diet is rich in fiber, your gut bacteria are well fed, and in return, they produce the short-chain fatty acids. And these aren't just some random leftovers, they are critical for your health. And here's why the short-chain fatty acids matter. They are the preferred fuel source for the cell lining of your colon. That means they literally help to grow and to repair the gut lining. They have anti-inflammatory powers, so they help expand T-regulatory cells while calming down inflammation in the gut and in the rest in the body. Short-chain fatty acids help to seal up the leaky gut by boosting mucus production in the gut lining, and they even help regulate blood sugar and insulin sensitivity, which ties directly to weight, energy, and hormone balance. So the most important ones to remember are butyrate, acetate, and propionate. These three make up about 90 to 95% of your short-chain fatty acids in your colon. Now on the other markers section, on the gut zoomer, we can even get more clues into what's happening under the surface. Let's start with beta-glucuronidase. This enzyme plays a huge role in how your body processes and eliminates toxins, hormones, and even certain medications. If this is elevated, it can interfere with proper hormone detox and toxin clearance, leading to symptoms like estrogen dominance or toxic buildup. We also look at markers like gliadin, aka wheat sensitivity, which can point to a gluten-related issue even if you've never tested positive for celiac. Sonulin, which tells us how leaky your gut might be. Higher levels means a higher permeability and more opportunity for food particles and pathogens to gloss into your bloodstream and trigger inflammation. And secretory IgA, your gut first line of defense. Think of it like the bouncer at the door of your intestinal lining. It keeps out bacteria, viruses, fungi, parasites, and undigested food particles. When secretory IgA is low, this usually means your gut immune system is burned out. So it's commonly seen in people with chronic stress, food sensitivities, food intolerances, gluten reactions, SIBO or Candida overgrowth, autoimmunity or inflammatory gut conditions, parasitic infections, or just constantly being in that fight or flight mode. On the other hand, if your secretory IgA is high, it often means your immune system is on high alert. So you might be dealing with inflammation, gut infections, food sensitivities, or a leaky gut that is triggering an immune system. Yes, I know this is already a lot of info, and this is why I love the gut zoomer. But wait, there is even more. One of my favorite parts of the gut zoomer is the commensal bacteria breakdown. It shows us which pathogenic bacteria are overgrowing and which beneficial strains are missing or low. And this is gold, because instead of throwing a generic probiotic at your gut and hoping it helps, we can get super specific. We know exactly which strains you need to rebuild a diverse, resilient microbiome and which ones you already have enough of. So we can remove what doesn't belong, rebuild what's missing, and ultimately strengthen not just your gut, but build your whole immune system. So beyond the little microbiome imbalance, we found a lot more in Courtney's case that explains her chronic bloating and discomfort, a Candida overgrowth, ongoing gut inflammation, low microbiome diversity, digestive insufficiency, and a leaky gut, just to name a few. And these aren't just random findings, they tell a story of why she felt off for so long, even when nothing seemed clinically wrong according to her GI map. When we found the real root cause, we can build a plan that actually works, and that changes everything. No guesswork, no other restrictive random diet or supplement that doesn't move the needle. I hope this was helpful. and God bless you.